Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Um, Today is going to be a little bit of a rough one. I wanted to kind of go over what what it was like after Garrett's passing. We and this is there's not going to be really any way to delicately put some of this to help with those folks that hopefully never have to experience anything like this, but um, if for whatever reason you want to, you plan and you want to think about the worst case, what if, and plan for that, then maybe this might help out a little bit. But what I want to kind of go over today is the weeks, the preceding weeks after Garrett's passing, and although some of it's in a blur, I do remember most of it. I'm probably forgetting little details along the way, but and some things I'll never forget. Some things are just so granular as far as the details of what that day was like. It's unbelievable. And so, really, this video today is just to share our experiences. With the funeral, with the selection of all the things that you have to think about associated with a funeral, and kind of the planning of that, for a lot of different ways, I guess. So I'll jump right into it. Again, as Garrett passed away on March 8th, 2023, and the 2 to 3 weeks after that point in time, were just, again, some of the most difficult times, all the way through this whole process. And what we had to do, I have some of my notes over here to the side, so I'm just kind of looking at that here and there. But what we had to do is we had to figure out the funeral home that was going to help us with this whole part, and where Garrett was going to be, where his body was going to be laid to rest, as far as which cemetery here locally, and so that in itself, as far as just buying the plot in the cemetery, we had a couple of cemeteries in mind that are close to us, where we really wanted an area where we could go down throughout the year, regardless of the season, and sit, bring a chair, and just talk out loud to him, knowing that only his body is there, his soul's up in heaven, and his spirit, but just a place to go and have a moment of silence, and eventually conversation out loud for us individually, with Barbara and myself and his sister, Leslie and Kevin, and the folks that truly knew him, and Kevin definitely knows Garrett through Barbara and what he's been a part of since his passing. But so we landed on a couple different options as far as a cemetery, and the one cemetery we wanted was Forest Hills Cemetery, and that was full, which is sad in itself. And so we picked the cemetery that's associated with it. It's kind of like a sister or a brother cemetery to Forest Cemetery, and called Riverview. And so we chose that spot there. We were blessed and thankful enough to get a spot by a tree, so we had a nice place to go and sit a chair, in the summertime, with some shade and some covering, to really just listen to the wind, rustling through the branches and the leaves and stuff throughout the seasons. Was important to have that, just kind of that surrounding, for his body's resting place. So we landed on the cemetery, the area that we wanted him, and then we had to go through the selection, from picking a casket to all the things associated with, like the colors of the overlay, and there was just so many pieces to this that I just couldn't fathom. And I never once in a million years even thought about having to do any of this, especially for a child, of mine. And it was tough. I'll be honest. I broke down many times during those conversations with the funeral home staff, and where I had to excuse myself from the room, where I just couldn't, I couldn't hold it together. I couldn't keep myself together. I just erupted in a ball of tears and sobbing, realizing that this can't be. This is still a dream. And so I am super thankful for the funeral home that we chose, and that was Yates Funeral Home here in Coeur d'Alene. And they were beyond, they were beyond helpful. I don't have words to explain as far as how helpful they were. The staff there was just so kind-hearted and compassionate as we went through the most horrible, phase in our life imaginable. And sorry, my voice is a little raspy too. From my neck surgery, my voice has been bothering me the last couple of days. But their staff, though, like I can't say enough good words about their staff, and very thankful for them to walk through that process with us and help us build the flyers for the funeral itself, to line up the procession for the funeral, and the showing for the funeral. We did have an open casket funeral for Garrett, and picking out his outfit for that, just tough. It's just everything about it was tough. And so we were super thankful that people walked alongside of us through that horrific process, and we were able to kind of come to an end with that. And from the selection of the casket and doing things how we wanted it, we weren't worried about the money aspect of it. Thankfully, one of Barbara's friends created a GoFundMe account throughout that process, and that was a huge help. I think they raised like $17,000. And I had state insurance through the military for Garrett. That was just an automatic deal, because I didn't have insurance for my kids, because I just never thought this was possible. And so I did not have life insurance on them. And so with that, obviously that was just north of 26,000 essentially. That didn't cover all the expenses. And it's kind of mind boggling when you think about that, $25,000 for a funeral. And we didn't go crazy with it. We wanted it done right, and we wanted it done to a point where we're not having regrets on how we didn't spend the money we wanted to spend, but it wasn't anything crazy. And so, $27,000 for a funeral was huge. And again, going back into the beginning of this video, as far as, just reaching down deep into your gut and realizing that, hey, everything's possible, right? In the most unimaginable ways. And so the only wrong plan is to have no plan. And so think about this and have a plan, whether that's life insurance, whether that's money set aside, whatever it is, because when you have to go through that moment of your child passing and you don't have the money, I guess, to do it the way you want to, that only is going to add to the stress, the gut-wrenching feeling that you already have at that time. And so I guess my one word of advice is to set it up a way where the financial piece is not going to be a strain. It's not going to be additional stress. It's going to be stress, but as far as like the part that breaks everything down, don't let it be that. Don't let it be the financials. Because I think that if we didn't do it the way we did, I think I would have a hard time with that. And I think I would hold on to that probably more than I should. Because that's not what's important. But in reality, that's what you think about. And that's what you feel sometimes. And so, food for thought, whatever that is for you, however that, however that looks like, or whatever that looks like for you, that's your part. But just do think about it. And then going beyond that, as far as the funeral itself, and being there with the gathering and just friends and family and folks that knew Garrett and loved Garrett and stuff. It was a great turnout, a huge showing, and it, I barely got some words out at the end, just thanking people for being there. But it was, it was huge. And so this video is to share that experience with you, but to also highlight the importance of that preparation, mainly on the financials, in all honesty. And again, I just wouldn't want that to be a hurdle for families and for anyone to go through during those times. I can only imagine the additional impact that would have if you're not able to provide for that, I guess, process. We did a beautiful headstone. I'm going down there this weekend, and I will take you guys along with me. So that will be probably one of the next videos, or up and coming videos, 1 or 2 videos from now. But I'll take you down there. I'll show you the headstone that we did for him. It's a beautiful piece. We took a lot of time and thought and effort behind that. We have some verses that were etched into there that mean a lot to us, and that mean a lot to our faith. And then just the way it's built, it is truly a place where we can go down there and just sit, and lay our head on the ground and talk and share our stories, share what's happened, and that's important. That's important for us, and so yeah, I don't really have much else to say other than that. I will go into the next video. I'll kind of go into what the next couple months looked like, and I'll be honest, they weren't pretty, and I'm going to be very transparent to a point where it's, I don't know. I'm going to be very transparent in what unfolded over the next couple months on how I handled things and what mistakes I made. But to reiterate, everyone's grief is their grief. You're going to handle it your own way. No one can tell you otherwise. And if they try to, honestly, shame on them. That's your time. That's your way of processing it. Obviously, there's ways that we think about that are healthy versus unhealthy, and it can go much broader than that too. But that's your grief. You carry it, you wear it, you express it in your way, and that's what it is. And so this next video will kind of get into that, and I'll share some of the things I did, and I'll share some of the things I wish I didn't do, and I'll share some of the things I wish I did, and so again, I hope this video, this channel essentially is able to reach someone, to correlate, to connect with someone. And I know over the last few videos, honestly, this is helping me quite a bit, because this is the most I've talked about my son's passing ever. And so I just, with that being said, I guess I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you, and taking the time to listen to me kind of just ramble about all of this, and taking the time to invest your thoughts and your feelings into my son, and into the love that we have for him, and what we want to share about him, and what we want to share about this experience and this journey, and ultimately the purpose behind all of this. So my heart says thank you from top to bottom. And other than that, we'll see you on the next one. Again, my heart goes out to you, and I'll see you on the next video.